and welcome back to my channel, and I will apologize now if my voice seems a little because I got sick and I thought I got better and I filmed some videos and then I got even worse. So I am finally feeling human after about a week of being sick, and I just want to get back into the gist of filming. And today I have a little bit of a delayed video for you guys, one that I wanted to do earlier, but obviously circumstance, and that is going to be reviewing and talking about the Kat Von D Mini Metal Matte Palette. We are going to be going through this whole bad boy right here, as well as comparing the Metal Crush shades to the singles that I have that also correspond to the shades that are in the original Metal Matte palette. Obviously, this is what the palette looks like. It is an exclusive to Sephora, as are all of Kat Von D's products, except for on her website. It retails for $39, which a lot of people really kind of weren't feeling it in the price department. You are getting 10 shades. They're 1.7 grams each. It is a limited edition, which I think is kind of stupid, but hey, that's just me. You are getting 5 mattes and 5 of the Metal Crush singles in the same format as the original Metal Matte palette, which was holiday of 2016. Now, basically what she did for this palette, let me show you right here. This is what the original bad boy looks like, is she basically took these shades right here, the Feather, Oak, Suede, Bone, and Velvet, and that is what we have for the mattes on this side. They are all from this palette right here. No new shades, no nothing, yada, yada, yada. And also for the Metal Crush shades, we do have, let's see here, Synergy, which is in here as well, Flash, which is in here, and the other shades, which are shades in her original Metal Crush single line. So we have got a lot of repetition going on with this. We're not seeing anything new. We're just kind of seeing a bunch of other things that we've seen before thrown together in a smaller palette, which can be appealing to some, but can be a big turnoff when, you know, everything in the community has already been done. There's hardly anything new ever done. We want something interesting and exciting, and Kat Von D, I feel, is a brand that is able to bring new, exciting, and interesting things to the game. Now, one thing that I do appreciate for this is she did include in this one, which she did not include in the original Metal Matte, is her Metal Crush shade in Thunderstruck, which is one of my absolute favorite eyeshadows, highlighters, one of my favorite things of all time. So I am glad that she included that in this cute little whatever here. We are going to go through and do swatches and comparison swatches to the original Metal Matte palette, as well as the formula on the Metal Crush shadows. So let's just get into it. All right, I'm gonna start with the matte shades going on over here, and we're gonna start with Bone. I mean, this is just gonna be, it is a nice overall setting shade. It is what I use today, not that you can see it, but it is what I use to set my eye. There it is there, and then we have it in the palette. They do feel very similar. There we have them right there. I mean, I absolutely adore her matte. So, and then we have Feather here, which is this nice kind of like yellow toned one. It's a very unique shade, I find. And then obviously from the original down here, there seems to be a lot of consistency I am finding between the colors. I'm not finding a lot of discrepancy color-wise. And then we have Suede, which is what I use to start defining my crease. It's probably not going to show up too well on my arm, but on my hand, on my eyes, it does show up really nicely. And there it is. One thing that I am noticing almost with this palette as I'm going through and swatching is the first ones here are from the mini one, and I feel like they're almost more pigmented. They almost pack a little bit more of a punch than the ones in the original. That could just be entirely me. And then we have Oak here, and I totally just went into the other one instead. Here we have Oak, which is a beautiful brown. Once again, I don't know if you can tell, but this one just almost has a little bit more intensity than the one from the original palette. So, not sure about that. And then last but not least, we have Velvet, which is a beautiful shade. Now, darker mattes are rather difficult to formulate and blend and do all that jazz. But once again, there it is in the little palette, and there it is from the big one. It just, a little weird. Next, we're gonna do the Metal Crush shades, and then we'll do kind of talk about my experience with the whole palette compared to the singles and the original palette. So we are going to start off with Thunderstruck right here. Just look like that. I just absolutely love this. I do have the single right here. Mine unfortunately dropped recently and I had to save it. My poor baby. Oh, we're just going to do a little bit goes a long way with this right here. And they look similar, but I would say that the formula is different. I would say that the original is just smoother and creamier and a bit more pigmented and a bit more intense, because I have used this constantly as a inner corner highlight, and I felt like I had to pack on more of this one from the palette than I did just using the single. Next, we have Flash right here, which is what I have on the inner part of my eye going on there. I mean, I do love her Metal Crush singles. They are absolutely beautiful. Then we'll have Flash from this palette over here. Pretty much tit for tat going on there. Absolutely nothing wrong there. Then we have Dose right here, which is a beautiful, I mean, can we just, oh, if she just releases a palette of nothing but Metal Crush shadows, I would be fine. I would be fine with that. And this one is not in the Metal Matte palette, but it is one of her original shades here. So we're just going to compare that going on. This one is almost a little bit more orange, and this one is a little bit more pink, but that kind of is nitpicking. Next, we have Synergy right here, which is this beautiful mocha brown color. These are unbelievably smooth and soft, pigmented. They're amazing. This one is from the original palette going on there. And then I do have this one in her original as well. And there we have it. There's almost like a teensy-weensy bit of tone difference, but that's about the only difference I can see. I mean, they are still very pigmented, beautiful, smooth, blendable. I absolutely enjoy using this formula. And then last but not least is Raw Power, which is a single of hers, but I do not own it, sadly. So we're just gonna swatch it here by itself right on the top. Hello. Okay, time for final thoughts. Swatches don't exactly tell all when it comes to how a palette will perform. The one thing that I will say disappoints me the most out of this palette isn't necessarily the quality of the shades. I find that the mattes perform just as well as any of her other mattes from holiday palettes, from Permanent, you know, from the Metal Matte, from Shade and Light. Kat Von D tends to be very consistent when it comes to her quality control. Same with the Metal Crush shadows. They compare to the singles, the ones from the Metal Matte palette. The problem that I have is honestly the lack of creativity in this palette. Kat Von D is someone that is able to constantly and consistently bring really good, new, and innovative products to the game and really shake things up. And I feel like this palette is just kind of a disappointment in that area. However, if you are someone who is drawn to these shades and you missed the Metal Matte palette, this would be a phenomenal palette to pick up for you because it has some beautiful, gorgeous, kind of warm, ready tones that we're seeing everywhere, basically. This is definitely not a, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here with this palette. So if you did miss out on that, I find that it's very cohesive. I don't think you can get too many different looks because, well, one, there are only 10 shades in the palette. Two, it's kind of a limited spectrum here, but the quality is very good, except for, not saying the quality isn't good, but the one inconsistency I found is this Thunderstruck shade. I am obsessed with this eyeshadow. This is probably my second or third one that I am on. I use it all the time as a face highlight, inner corner highlight, as an eyeshadow, as everything. And I feel like in order for them to manufacture it in this form, something about the formula changed, and it just isn't that same smooth, creamy, buttery, and insanely pigmented and reflective as this one is. And that is very disappointing because I was so excited to have it in a palette because this is so stinking delicate. You breathe on it wrong and it breaks. I was like, I'll be able to have a palette and I can have it. And what? No. Honestly, what I would like to see her do is to take this metal matte theme and actually make a bunch of permanent palettes that are this, matte and metal crush formula layout, but make a whole bunch of different color schemes. Like she could do one that was crazy brights, ones that's like cool tone neutrals, and then we could do warm tones or blues and pinks, and she could do so much with this, and especially with the way she's done the packaging here, where on the script kind of is that like reddy orangey brown tone. She could run that through, and with the bright ones do a bright one. I feel like if she were to take this and run with it and make a whole bunch of different palettes, different color schemes, this would be amazing. If you have the Metal Matte palette, don't buy this. If you have these colors, don't buy it. If you have the Metal Crush shades, don't buy it. I bought it because I'm a Kat Von D fanatic. I wanted to review it for you guys, and I figured it would be nice to have to travel and all that jazz. It's nice quality. It's just not necessarily exceptionally innovative. Whew, sorry about that, and sorry if that review was kind of rambly, but definitely let me know down in the comments below what you think of this palette. If you have it and you love it, you hate it, you don't have it, you guys know the drill. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and as always, keep it real. Mwah!